Urethane covered golf balls remain the gold standard for spin, feel, and control around the greens. But what if I told you non-urethane models are walking the same spin walk? We recently ran 12 different ball bearings through a 40-yard half wedge test on the Golf Laboratory swing robot, and the results were eye-opening. If you don't want to fork over $50 to $55 for a dozen urethane balls, a non-urethane offering could be appealing at $25 to $40. Robotic testing confirmed the distance delta is minimal between urethane and non-urethane at the top of the bag, but that changes as you get into the scoring clubs. Non-urethane averaged 3,900 RPMs and launch at 37.5 degrees from 40 yards, essentially 3-wood spin with a higher launch on a touch shot. Those numbers will have a tough time holding a green. Urethane, on the other hand, averaged 6,500 RPMs at 31.5 degrees. That's more spin and a lower, more controlled launch, which is more in line with how pros attack shots around the green. The reason non-urethane struggles in the short game department is because the firmer Surlyn or ionomer material doesn't allow the wedge groups to grab the cover in the same way as a urethane offering. While those half-wedge numbers were consistent across almost all non-urethane models, 3 flipped the script: Srixon's Q-Star and Soft Feel, and Titleist's Tour Soft. The trio delivered roughly 5,600 RPMs and a lower launch at 35 degrees, moving them closer to urethane territory. Let's quickly break them down. Srixon Q-Star spins hit between 4,700 and 6,400 RPMs, which overlaps with premium urethane offerings like Callaway's Chrome Soft and Encore's Vero X. But there's a caveat for this one. The spin rate standard deviation was 550 RPMs, meaning you could see a difference of over 500 RPMs from one ball to the next. Srixon Soft Feel is a budget gem. Wedge shots produce spins north of 5,500, peaking around 6,100. That's Chrome Soft and Max Fly Tour S territory for under $25 a dozen. And then there's Titleist's Tour Soft, the most consistent of the trio. Spin hovered between 5,300 and 5,900 RPMs, mirroring the spin profiles of TaylorMade's Tour Response and Max Fly's Tour. Not only did it earn high marks for spin, but it had some of the most consistent metrics from one ball to the next. The obvious elephant in the room is whether these balls dethrone a Titleist Pro V1 or a Callaway Chrome Tour. Not quite. But for weekend warriors burning sleeves and budgets alike, these non-urethane options act more like their urethane counterparts without the $50 a dozen hit.